Hey guys, Andy here. I don't often muck about with sort of Indiegogo and Kickstarter and that sort of thing. I think, in fact, I've only ever backed 5 things on Kickstarter. If you're a regular viewer, you might remember things like the Jelly phone, the world's smallest 4G phone. So I got that through Kickstarter. But earlier in the year, so I think it was January, I saw this kind of mobile screen. And it seemed like quite a good idea. You could plug your phone into it, you could plug your laptop into it, and it was just an extra sort of screen. I do have a MacBook Pro, and I thought it'd be quite handy to be able to run 2 screens at the same time. When you're doing things like coding, that's actually really handy. So I backed it, I think $199. 3,567 people backed it in all. It raised $1.1 million. So it did quite well. And last week, my screen finally arrived. So let's have a look through initially what's in the box and then a bit of a chat about how I found it. So it's a reasonably plain and simple box, black box with some green text. The only bit of information is the resolution and the size, but I think it only comes in the 15.5, but it does come in a 4K version, but that's not touchscreen. We'll come to that in a moment. Small bezels around the top and the sides, quite a large bezel along the bottom, but I wouldn't say that's an issue. On the one side, let's look at the ports. So we've got 2 HDMI ports, we've got 2 regular USB, I think that's Type A, isn't it, the old style, and then 2 Type C. Strangely, one must be used for charging and one must be used for data. They're not interchangeable, which is a little bit weird, I think. On the other side, we've got the buttons for accessing and scrolling through and changing settings and menus and all that sort of thing that are a little confusing at times, if I'm honest, but you kind of get by using them. You don't use them very often, I suppose. And then the kickstand, which has a couple of magnets. It does stay very firmly closed. You have to get the right part of it to be able to pull it open. If we look what else is in the box, it's actually very well prepared, and we see here the charging brick, the Type C charging brick. Now this is the first big problem. You have to use this charging brick, and it's not just me. There's other people commenting it on the Kickstarter page. Why can't they use their phone charger or their laptop charger? No, only the one that's provided. We've then got an HDMI cable, a Type A to Type C USB cable, and a Type C to Type C USB cable. There's also a remote, which I guess works when you're plugged into your phone, but if I'm honest, I've not really tried using that just yet. So it is quite simple. As long as you plug into the data port and then plug into your MacBook or whatever, it pretty much auto detects, and you then get to choose if you want to mirror a screen or you want to extend the desktop. In this case here, I'm extending the desktop, so literally I'm going dual screen on the MacBook Pro, which is kind of what I wanted it for, but at the same time you could have the laptop facing you and then the screen facing other people, and you could then mirror your screen and they could see what you're doing. Here we have it plugged into the bottom of my OnePlus 7 Pro, and you can see again it's just mirroring the screen. The colours not quite as sharp and impressive as you get on the OnePlus 7 Pro. I guess that's to be expected. The price you're paying for this screen, I don't think you'd imagine them to be quite of the same quality. And to me, it was acceptable when I had it plugged into both the MacBook and the phone. There was no issues. It looked nice and crisp and clear. It was quite responsive. There's not really any delay from one to the other. Everything worked well in that respect. If we talk about some of the other specs, it is 15.6, it's full HD, and as I think I've mentioned, there is a 4K available. This one is space grey, but you can get midnight blue, solid black, or rose gold. It's got a 5,000 mAh internal battery, which they say gives 5 hours of use. I won't lie, I've not used it enough to know that that's the case. And I believe in theory you can charge things off it using that the Type A port. It will charge other devices. I've been over the inputs. There is also a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is quite interesting. It does have speakers as well, so when you're plugged in through the HDMI, everything can come out of the screen. So the problem being, it can only be charged with the charger included, which seems bizarre. You've put Type C in there as one of the stretch goals, which instead of a sort of proprietary charger, but then you can only charge it with the charger included. So kind of silly. The max brightness is only about 300 lumens, so again, it's not an amazing screen. As I've mentioned, the touchscreen, or I think I mentioned, the touchscreen just doesn't work on mine. I've seen videos where it does work, but not the case with mine. I have emailed them about all of these problems, and another one which was about I can't get it to rotate into portrait mode. So if I connect it to my phone, I'm just getting the portrait mode inside of the landscape screen, rather than being able to rotate the screen and use that as well. So as I was just saying, I have emailed about these issues, the rotation, the charger, the touchscreen, and I've had no reply. I've waited to make this video thinking maybe they're replying, tell me things I'm doing wrong, but I waited a week, no reply. So I kind of agree. There's a lot of people on the Kickstarter campaign saying this company is not a good company to deal with. They're ignoring a lot of people, ignoring a lot of problems. And actually, so after all this time, this video, I would say I can't really recommend it because of the company. I think the project, if the product worked as you would expect it to, actually really good, really handy. And to be fair, it's still going to be handy for me having that extra screen. All I really wanted was an extra screen when I'm on my laptop mainly. But at the same time, it would have been really handy to be able to plug it into my phone and use that big screen with a touchscreen element to just kind of operate it like it's a massive tablet. Really would have been handy, would have been quite cool. A lot of people are saying that they're contacting their credit card companies to try and get their money back because they're being ignored on email, and I might look into that. Actually, I feel a bit bad because I have got a product, but it's not the product that they advertised. The touchscreen is a massive thing that's just not there. It's just not working. And if they don't reply to me, I mean, what else do I do? Be aware as well, I paid sort of £23 import tax as well, so the whole thing, I don't know, will cost me maybe £200. So I don't know, maybe I'll leave a comment at some point if I do try and get my money back through my bank. So yeah, I don't know, you can buy it for £220 for the full HD or £300 for the 4K screen. I don't think I could recommend it though, because if you get one that's dud and duff, the support seems to be zero. I don't know what else to say. Do let me know if you've got one. If you're one of the 3,000 people that also has one, let me know if your touchscreen works. Let me know if you have the same problems as me. If you have any answers, because you don't get an instruction manual. So if you know if I'm doing something wrong, somebody said, oh, you've got to enable OTG mode for the touchscreen to work. I tried that, it made no difference. So if you know what it might be, please do let me know. As always, I'd love to read your comments down below. But for now, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon. Well done for making it all the way to the end of the video. Please do give it a thumbs up and leave a comment as well. I promise I'll read every single comment on all of my videos, so do leave a comment too. If you haven't already, subscribe, click that bell icon to make sure you're notified anytime I upload something new. Perhaps most importantly, just share my videos, be it social media, be it forums, just put them online for people to watch. If you want to go that one step further, there are links in the video description to my Patreon and also buy me a coffee. Just a few extra pound a month will help me make more videos. Also, of course, don't forget to check out the other videos on my channel. I'll see you all in the next one.